Sometimes you gotta take your position. Some fake it just to make it, but we ain't faking, my nigga. We take care of business. St. Louis is much too small of a city. The world is up for the taking, and we won't stop till we get it. So first you get the money, and then come the bitch. First you
hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lots of love. May he protect us from evil.
Through my trials and tribulations, I learned patience. Bow down to no man, but I respect greatness. Son of a king of kings, on my throne can't be taken. Rose from the ashes, abandoned buildings stripped naked. Fallen soldiers died in them same places. Same place a junkie smoked away his life savings. Am I wrong? Cause I chose to satisfy his craving. Became an entrepreneur, hustling in them same vacants. Found honor amongst thieves, so our bonds became sacred. Some living a boss life, some confined in federal cages. Some moved on, living in better places. I write these poems for those that didn't make it. And my lagoonies on the corner, trapped in the matrix. Protect our children, the playgrounds ain't the safest. As we rise above the madness to altitudes and high locations, held to the king that protect us from the evil that face us.
Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king.
Fathers, protect us. We're in the middle of a cold war. Keep us safe. Protect us from the evil thoughts that's hunting our mind. In a negative world, it's hard to stay positive in a life of crime. So I surrender it all to you, even my grind. And through me, I pray your light shine. A devil's workshop is an idle mind. So I read scriptures and positive literature.
515-599-1687. It takes a village.
All right. What's up? You know who it is. It's your girl, Miss Kiwi, and we are definitely in the building this evening once again. And I also have my co-host, Mrs. Mink, out of ATL. And we also have Fast Lane 747 will be joining us in a minute. But tonight we have a great topic for you guys. You know, it's all about the babies. Today we are talking about it takes a village to raise the kids. Who raising these kids of today?
Yes, that is so interesting. But first of all, let me just say hello. Good evening, beautiful. How are you tonight?
I can't complain. I am here once again. God bless me to see another day. And I'm here. And we're going to rejoice. And we're going to talk about this topic. And hey, and we hope we have some callers. So if you have not tuned in, tune in. We have a great show. Also call in 515-599-1687.
Yes, call on in because, hey, this topic that we're talking about tonight, it takes a village. It literally, we need to get back to the old school. It takes a village because we can't be everywhere all the time with our children. And it's so much going on in the world today with our children. We're constantly talking about that because we want to, continue to shed that light. We want to continue to bring that awareness. We want to continue to open up eyes. We want to continue to just make everybody focus more on what it is. Our babies are our future. If we get to see this future, our babies are our future, and we most definitely don't want to be held accountable for not helping our children see what they can mold themselves into for the future. So a lot of times it's just not that one parent, that mother or that father, that it will take to help mold that child. It takes a village. The grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the neighbor next door, the neighbor down the street, around the corner, the teachers. It's so many people that are very impactful in our lives. And so we have to, hey, get that village, form that village, get back to that village. Hey, welcome in, Fast Lane. We glad to see you tonight. Looking handsome as ever. All right.
Yes. But you know what? That's saying it takes a village. Break that down because even though that was a saying back in the day, and it took that village, you can't really say it take a village in these times. It do, but the reason I say that is because a lot of people don't want you saying nothing to their kids nowadays. You know, the neighbors can't even, you know, not so much chastise the kids, but the neighbors can't even say nothing to somebody's child because the parents get in their feelings and be mad. Well, you know, so when you say it takes a village, break that down for the newbies of this time.
Well, one thing I could say is that's a perfect example of why it takes a village, because we have got to a point where we don't want nobody to check our children when they out of pocket, and we ain't there to check them. And more than likely, if it takes somebody else to check your child, that means somewhere you slacking at where they should have knew better. And even when they do know better, we still try to get stuff off when we're away from our parents. So that plays a major part of being each other's eyes, seeing when we ain't seeing, you know what I'm saying? And we knew that as kids. We knew we had to watch what we do. If so-and-so saw it or Miss Wright or whoever seen it, we knew it's going to get back to mama. So we tightened up. Or if mama wasn't nowhere around, they going to check us like they our mama. That's why we call several of them mamas and aunties now, because that's the role they took on as we was growing up. They played that role, whether we was some kin or not. You know what I mean? And it's hard, like she was saying, it's hard to be in one place at the same. I mean, it's hard to be in multiple places at the same time. And when they raised us as a village, well, we learned a lot of different crafts from a lot of different people. You know what I'm saying? Like we got like auntie, she might offer this, and grandma offered this, and uncle, he might be off on this, but he offered this, and you know what I'm saying? All that played a part of what created us to be the people we are, what molded them children to become grown men or grown women. And then you see those women that's taking care of their household and all that, and she's acting like grandma, and she's doing what and cooking like grandma and all that. That's because she had all those different people in that family that played a part of molding her. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why the teachers can't even teach these children, because our kids are at a point now, can't nobody tell me nothing. You ain't my mama, you ain't our parent. We used to say that and we'll get smacked in our mouth.
Okay. And not only that, but we done already got one whooping from the neighbor, and when the mama or daddy came home, we got another whooping.
Yeah, you gonna get doubled up.
Okay, but these kids the other day gonna look at you like, I wish you would, and then here you go with these old ghetto mamas bagging their children up, knowing they wrong. I wish you would put your hands on my kid. No, what you should have been saying was, you should have hit him or her, and then I'm coming right behind you, because these kids are so unruly and disrespectful. But I don't blame it on the children, because it starts with the parents, the adults.
Yes, most definitely. You are so true. So, you know what? I look at, like, I'll say my little grandniece, my little grandbaby niece, Milani and Bella. They got old souls. When I say they got old souls, they got old souls. And Milani, she probably can out clean a lot of these adult women, you know, but it's because of what's being instilled in them that, hey, come on, you get in here and you work. And it's not just about one person, you know, saying something to you. If you doing wrong, then, hey, they get checked by whoever it is that they are with, that they are doing wrong with. And it's not about whooping your kids, you know, just focusing on whooping your kids. It's about when they doing wrong, hey, they got to be checked. And it shouldn't matter if it's your neighbor that needs to check them. Your neighbor may be seeing them doing it. Let them check them. Exactly. We're not also trying to promote when it is that somebody is trying to abuse the kid. No, it's not about that, or mishandling the child or doing something abusive to the child. No, it is not about that. And, you know, we do have some individuals that, you know, have those type of mentalities. However, a lot of it is, there are a lot of, we got old souls that's out there still that can't say nothing to these young people without these young people cursing them out, with these young people telling them, you ain't my mama, daddy, or grandmama, or whatever the case may be. These young people don't even hold the doors for the older ladies when they see them walking through the doors nowadays. They walk in front of them, almost knock them down. So we got to get back to that village.
It takes a village. It takes a village. I don't care what you say. It takes a village. Because if mama is too busy laying up in the house with her boyfriend, she ain't worried about the kids out in the streets. Or even, you know what I'm saying, the ball and ran in the streets. Now the baby done ran after the ball. The mama ain't nowhere around. You know, you seeing 5-year-old kids down around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Where's they parents at? And I do understand that parents work, but you had that baby too. So you have to learn how to balance all of that out. We have to get back to being mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers to our kids. We have young grandparents of today, young grandparents. But even with being a young grandparent, once upon a time, you had a big mama. You had a nanny.
Nanny.
You had a yammy. You had all of those things. So we have to get back to those teachings. It takes a village. It actually takes a village. When you send your kids to school, you're not there with your children. That means that the teachers, the principals, the counselors, all of the people that's running that school is over your children. So you have to be able to allow people to also say something, discipline your children, you know, without you getting in your feelings and ready to fight, or you want to cuss them out. Because it takes a village. I don't care what you do.
It does take a village. You are so right. I love what it is that, say for instance, WOLS. I'll call out WOLS, Boys and Girls Club, and some of these other Boys and Girls Clubs, whereas to these, volunteers are volunteering to spend time with that young man or that young lady, because I was a cheerleading coach. And the coaches that my son came up under for football, basketball, baseball, they literally took time out with those boys. And you talking about checking them? Oh, yeah, they used to go to their schools. They used to go to their schools and check up on their grades. And if it was that their grades wasn't right, they was running them hills at Woles, or either they were not able to play. And do you think I said anything? Right. Not a thing. Right. Not a thing.
Exactly.
Hey, that's like when I played for Sumner, and Coach Walls, he was something else. But when I say something else, that's what he created, champion teams. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he didn't play with us. He had us out there in the mud, the rain, the sleet, the snow. And we used to think he was being mean until we started realizing them scores and how we was doing to other teams when we get out on that field. And we was seeing that all that hard work paid off. But he was also teaching us discipline skills and, determination and, like how hard work paid off. And just because everybody nice to you don't mean they teach you the right way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that aggressive tone or somebody that's staying on you or putting their foot up in you sometime to keep you going, you know what I mean, is very necessary. And it don't always got to be your parent, you know what I mean? So I just, I like to send a shout out to Coach Walls because, 2 years in a row, he created a champion squad, you know what I mean? To them Sumner Bulldogs, you know what I mean? But he also taught us how to be real men.
All right, now we got a caller coming in. Hold on, let's see. All right, now we got a... Hello.
Hello, family.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Thank you for calling in.
I'm loving the topic.
All right, now we'll share some knowledge. Drop something on them. Give them some jewels then. What you got to say about that? It takes a village to raise these kids.
It takes a village, but the village that we have or once had, because that's what we get our teaching from.
Mm-hmm.
So the village that we have is up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the ones have lost that village or never had it.
Yep.
So that's why we end up in the situations that we do. And everything is perfect. So everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
We
And
got
it's not
so
okay.
many things that we're dealing with now that we didn't deal with when we was coming up. You didn't have to figure out your gender.
Yeah, come on now,
You
talk
knew
about it.
you knew what you was born to. And that's what you was raised as to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's so many options and so many selections and so many free will that we then gave these children. Because at the end of the day, they are children.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make adult decisions. Immature minds trying to make adult decisions.
But you also have to realize this, though. You know, a lot of these children are put in adult situations.
That's right. Absolutely.
And I was just finna get to that too,
children
sir.
of today, they're not made to go out of the room when grown folks talking. Right. They sit right there amongst grown folks, and half of the time they be answering.
And they high-five them. And they high-five them.
Exactly. So, you know, I just feel like a lot of times
It goes back to us.
It goes back to the adults. We have to get back to the basics. Y'all talk about the basics. The world is turning. Things are evolving every single day. But at the same token, anything that was taught to you, that's instilled and embedded in you, take that and make it up today. Because I'm going to tell you something, we are losing our children. But it's because a lot of parents are lost. All they doing is laying down having babies. They were not taught about it. And you know, and the thing of it is, we wasn't taught. We didn't come with a manual.
Because what you saying is absolutely. But the parents that we dealing with in today in age goes back to days what we used to. So when a village come in and we're actually speaking on what needs to be spoken on, we're ridiculed, and some of us are made to back down.
But you know, but you know one thing though, and I was just watching this, like they said, like along this journey, we find ourselves as we learn and grow, we change certain things, but if certain things wasn't meant to be changed. Like when there was certain lessons that was instilled in us that we saw worked, and morals and values that was instilled in us, whether we got our ass whooped for it, or they had to fuss at us all day, or they pulled up at our schools or whatever, them the people we love the most right now. So why would we change up those ways that they were showing us when really we thought it was being mean, but it really made us have manners. It taught us how to be respectful. And
I'm not saying it's for us to change.
No, I'm not saying I'm not talking against what you're saying. What I'm saying is we got to go.
I know.
We got to go back to it's certain. What I'm saying is, as we learn and adapt to this new world, this how deep it runs. We think we going forward when really we going backwards. You see what I'm saying? So as our children see like they're being advanced with all this different technology, they're really being dumbed down because they don't know how to use their instincts, their senses that we had to use, because when you don't have that technology, you had to tap into self. You see what I'm saying? So it also goes back to when we was taught mannerism, even when it was forced on us. We learned it. You see what I'm saying? We learned it. Now we giving these children a choice.
They trying to make us be chameleons. They're trying to make us adapt. And we're not trying to adapt. So we keep talking and we keep trying to enforce the youth to try to be focused on doing what they need to do. And it ain't all. Because the ones that really have ran across us as a whole, that's really reaching out and telling them where they're wrong and what they're doing and where they need to correct it. Some of those are listening.
And you are, you know what? And you are absolutely correct in that, saying. So that's, and a lot of times, even for us being the elder, I'll say the older generation, and we know that we have the younger women coming up it's up to us even, just like our mothers and grandmothers did for us, our neighbors next door, grandma's neighbors, and so on and so forth. Hey, they even talked to us when we were having children and helping, giving, that insight, a little bit of insight on what to do and how to do it. And we listen. And so we have to try and tap into our younger women that are having, children at a really young age, to help kind of turn them around. Because a lot of these young women that are having children, yes, they having the babies, but they don't have that guidance. Some of them don't even have the guidance, to help. So if it is that I'm looking at it now, and especially with, us as a family starting a business as a part and a way of us giving back to the community, one of our goals is to help these young mothers with where it is that they stand with you getting a job. We want to actually build a daycare so that the women that work for us, the young women that work for us, or even the young men that work for us that are that sole provider for that child, we want them to feel comfortable. So we're going to, that's one of our goals, is to start a daycare with the business for those that are working for us, to be able to know that your child is in a secure place, to help these younger people, so I know that we're putting out a call to action per se, but along with that call to action, we also have to have a little understanding too, because of the mindset that a lot of these young people are in right now.
Exactly.
So with all that being said, how do we reach the ones that can't comprehend? Because I'm working with some females every day that can't comprehend.
Well, maybe.
And they're having children, but they can't comprehend the everyday skills of life. So,
and you know what? That's sad.
Us, how do we reach it?
It takes patience. It does take patience. It takes patience. And in order for us to see and create change, to help others and not to put others down, that's the big thing is to stop and look and help to bring others up instead of putting each other down. Because as I stated, it's a lot of these young women out here, and you just stated you work with a lot of young women that don't have that moral support. They don't know. They just literally don't know.
I'm gonna say this, but a lot are stubborn.
Well,
yeah,
can I say this, cuz?
For the stubborn ones that can't take the comprehension of you giving it simple, and they're in an environment.
Hey, cuz, one thing I learned though, we just have to keep on putting it in their face. You know why? Because I bet you Aunt Ruby thought you was stubborn too. And not throwing darts, I know my mama thought I was stubborn, or a sis. And when I say that, even when we thought we wasn't listening, it was still sticking. You know what I mean? Because real is real. So all we could do is keep giving them the real. And when it's time for them to really understand what you was giving them, that's when understanding gonna come to them, whether you believe it or not. It was times I was saying stuff to young guys, and you know what I mean, when we might have been in some of the worst situations at the time, but I always was preaching and just voicing my way of seeing life. You know what I mean? And now that they're grown, they'll come back and be like, man, I ain't even look at it like that. And so I kept hearing you say that used to get on my nerves talking that, and then, you know what I mean, I was in a situation and all I could hear is you saying that to me. You know what I'm saying? So real is real, no matter if you want to hear it or not. You know what I mean? So you just have to keep being real with them and giving it to them, whether you thinking they comprehending or not. Just keep giving it to them, because they gonna eventually understand. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like getting fed soul food. It's gonna stick. You know what I'm saying? So when you feed them good soul food, it's gonna stick regardless. Whether it don't seem like it in front of you right now at that moment that they taking it in. But if you giving it to them in the raw and giving them the truth, they gonna hear you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing they is attracted to is the real. They want to hear the truth. They just don't know the truth. They getting so much false information.
They don't want to acknowledge it to you that they recognize the truth.
That's okay though. Long as you do your part of putting it in their face. They might come back later on in life, or you might just see the results in them. You know what I'm saying? Just know you did your part. Because, see, we was blessed to be raised up under them certain queens that they didn't care where we was at. They was coming to the trenches. They kept wherever we was at. We didn't miss a meal because of them, though. You know what I mean? We didn't even know what suffering was because they kept food rolling. They kept the houses clean. They kept us on our feet even when we didn't know about being on our feet. You know what I'm saying? And we was running wild and reckless. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't ever stop putting their foot in our ass either, though. You feel me? Exactly. And now I look back, that was saving us. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times we don't be knowing what's in front of us until we get to that level of understanding. You see what I'm saying? God will give you something 10 years in advance, and you won't understand it until it's time for you to understand it. You know what I'm saying? So keep giving it to him because you're being blessed to be in that position to give it to him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And even though you may think
all right now. Yeah, all right now.
And listen, cuz even though you may think that they're not receiving it or getting it, some people don't get it
right away
as fast as other people do. But be consistent in what you're doing. Keep filling them up with whatever it is that God is putting in you to give to them. Because like he said, like Fastlane said, just because you don't see it don't mean it's not happening.
That's right.
We just
so I'm going to say this, family. That's why I threw the question out there.
Yes.
That's why I threw the question out there.
Exactly.
Because I'm totally on the level that y'all are on. But it's always nice for someone else to say it.
Exactly.
And if they hear it from somebody else, and it's giving the same energy, sometimes they might understand.
Better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So this is why we're having this conversation. Because all of us is on the same page with everything that's going on.
This that village
but
talk.
Everybody got a different approach for everything, but we got the same message.
That's that village.
That's
so
that village.
sometimes these kids need to hear it from a different approach.
Exactly. That's like Fastlane keeps saying. It's the village. It is that village. And that was something that I
we go back to the village. I love y'all, family. Go ahead and do what y'all doing. But see, we awakening and trying to reach one, touch one. Hey,
yes,
that's what we are.
Yeah, most definitely. You
That's
said
why we
the
can't worry
word.
about if they take it personal.
Exactly.
You know, our aunties and grandmas, they didn't care about if we took it personal.
Man.
And when you look back,
there you go.
When you look back, you love them dearly. See, that was the blessing. Love you too.
Thank you.
It was a blessing to have people that gave it to you raw.
Exactly.
So when you get out in this raw world, you're going to realize all that sweet talk ain't always real. You see what I'm saying?
It ain't always real.
But when you was raised amongst people that gave it to you raw, you pick it up, you pick up different. You see what I'm saying? So even when we thought we wasn't understanding, they was putting something in us. They gave us a real understanding of the difference in real and fake, and somebody that's playing with you and somebody that wasn't playing with you. Exactly. See, we came amongst a lot of people that wasn't playing with us. So we realized this world wasn't going to be playing with us. You know what I mean? And that's how we have to keep on putting it out there. I don't care. Like this what I was finna say though. They said that you know, like, it's always somebody gonna come along in these different times that's gonna have to stand up. Like they said, Rosa Parks, she didn't know what she was finna do when she went and sat in front of that bus. But the thing is, she changed some things for us right now, to this point, right now, to this day.
Right.
Even though didn't nobody else think to do it, whether it was a woman or man, didn't nobody, but it was called up on her to do it. She didn't know how far that move was gonna go, but she did it. You see what I'm saying? Same way. Many more of them that then passed on. You know what I'm saying? So we got, whether they want to hear it or not. Yes, ma'am.
We got work to do.
Yes, ma'am. Rosie Woodson, she fed a whole tribe on her birthday and gave out money to all the grandkids and nieces and nephews on her birthday, and that was Christmas. You see what I'm saying? So when you see a woman being able to do that, you know what I'm saying? She carried the whole load on her back. You know, and she kept the village together, though. You see what I'm saying? The village was coming together, being able to talk together, whether you want to hear it or not. They wasn't going in little corners, backstabbing. See, we got to get back to being real because we training these kids to be snakes. Exactly. That's why why they always talk about this back door and all that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do. We used the front door. You know what I'm saying? Because on the back door,
you better
stop. Grown folks is in the back anyway.
You better get us there. Okay.
They was in the back checking you. What you doing? You better go back around there. We back here doing grown folks things. You see what I'm saying? So we didn't allow our kids to do too much where they thinking it's okay. So we got to go back to standing strong as the adults, like they say. When you know better, you do better. If they don't know better, then we got to teach them better. You know what I mean? Because you ain't always born with it. You ain't always born with the panther. You know what I'm saying? You don't know exactly what to do all the time. So we got to start. We got to quit. Like, one thing we got to do as a people, we got to quit spending so much time talking about the negative side of the results we get and start paying attention to the solution, because really this was a plan. It was a divide and conquer plan. It divided the tribe and they conquered the tribes. You see what I'm saying? And they conquered us by making one person thinking they was better than the other person, or sprinkling salt on one person. Before you know it, they ain't talking to these kids, or they talking about these kids, or you talking about your auntie. Or, man, our aunties used to check us. You had something to say about one of your aunties, you wouldn't even dare say it to your auntie or your cousins or nobody else, because if it get back to them, they're pulling up. You see what I'm saying? So we got to teach these kids how to be real again, as far as amongst each other, as far as amongst ourselves. You know what I mean?
Much bitterness between siblings and stuff,
and all that talk to their parents.
You know what I'm saying? These parents are actually scared of their children nowadays. These parents are not parents. These kids are raising their selves.
Parents.
And the thing about it is that, you know, we sitting here and we are discussing this because this is a need.
It's real
for everybody to stand up and to start taking part ownership in it, and we can make a change. It might not change today, but if we be consistent in it with our babies, we're going to see a change. Because if not, we're going to keep on losing our kids to the streets.
We're losing it at a rapid pace.
I'm talking about dying every day, all day.
And that was a plan.
You know what I'm saying?
They always said,
every day, all day.
We chopped the head off we chopped the head off and the body can't function. So they're chopping the heads off before they can even become the body of the family or the bodies of the tribes. And we got to realize that.
And this is what is coming to society. This is what the parents that don't take knowledge in what's going on with their kids, this is who we're sending out into society. And you're expecting to have society accept them as how you raised and treated them at home.
Hey, cuz, right where
and you send them out, as sheep amongst the wolves.
Mm-hmm. You know, like, we didn't realize.
So we definitely got to do better.
Hey, look, when you say it started at home, we didn't realize for the last, I say 15 years, more than 15, but I would say 20 years, I say. For the last 15 years, our kids, we was faithfully running out buying these kids every Grand Theft Auto that came out. You see what I'm saying? But we complain about rap music, but when you look at Grand Theft Auto, what is Grand Theft Auto for starters? That's teaching them how to steal cars. What do they do right now? And in Grand Theft Auto, they walking around with big guns.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, but hold on. Before we go to Call of Duty, though, they walking around with big guns. In Grand Theft Auto, you high speeding all around. You doing drive-bys. You walking out into the stores with these big old rifles. You see what I'm saying? You got, look, they've been programmed to do that, because I don't care how gangster they think it is. The gangsters before them didn't move like that. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at who taught you how to move like that, we went and supported it by keep comping them video games. They still dropping them for us because it worked. It worked. Simple as math. They said we're going to give them something they really like. When you say how do you reach them, you give them something that you like. And they going to like it because they going to enjoy it. Even when you teaching a child or anybody something, when you teaching them in a way where they having fun, they tend to remember. When you give it to them and they having fun, they going to lose their interest. So they gave them something. Let them
pleasure themselves.
They gave them something that they love.
So they going to indulge in whatever pleasures them.
And now that's all they know.
And as a parent, we put it to their face.
We wouldn't.
Well, you know what?
Anything that can occupy them to keep from talking to us.
You know what? I heard on one of the podcasts that is broadcast out of My City, My Music. I listen to them, whether they, others think that we don't listen here and why not say it? We listen. I listen to majority, all of them. And I try to like and everything and share some of them. But I heard on one of them, we talk that talk, but we don't get involved until it's at our front door. As long as it is that it's not at our front door, we have a closed eye to it. But when it's at our front door, then that's when it is that it's a problem and we want everybody to get involved. No, we need to be involved in it. I don't care whose child it is. If you see that child, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Nowadays it is a little scary.
It's one of these things like this, I feel. And this is my opinion, but I just feel like this in my heart. God is still calling for those that's going to separate themselves. Now, you be fearful and scared because he don't want us to be fearful and scared.
Nope.
Not when we out here speaking about him and the goodness that he's doing, because all we doing is letting people know that some of these things we have lived and see how we have made it through. And we still in the trenches and we still struggling and we still every day is a hustle and not so much of because the first thing when you say hustle, everybody take it to the negative. A hustle, I'm talking about it could be, listen.
Hustle and just with your everyday of waking up.
All I'm saying
just
to
waking up.
Listen, all I'm saying to you is this. If you have children, if you don't have children. See, we play mothers even when we're not mothers.
That's right.
You feel what I'm saying? God put it in us to be nurturers, regardless. That didn't say just the baby that came out your womb. He gave it to us to be nurturers to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Men,
absolutely.
Women, babies, animals, whoever. We're nurturers.
That's why y'all start off with baby dolls. Y'all learning how to change pampers with baby dolls. Y'all combing the baby doll's hair, changing the clothes, everything. Y'all was born with it. We outside playing while y'all really learning how to do house. Y'all playing house. We out here playing in the field while y'all playing house. So y'all
outside trying to build. Y'all building go-karts, trying to figure out how we gonna trip this ramp over here. You getting these two mattresses and tumble on. Y'all out there trying to figure out how to build.
Exactly.
While we playing with these dolls.
Cause do you remember this? These kids of the day don't even know nothing about hopscotch, bolo bat, jack,
double dutch,
and you know what I'm saying?
Double dutch, single rope, just
hide and seek.
I mean, because baby, they hide and seek nowadays. They
hide and seek no more.
It's back to
we was outside. The computers are raising our kids.
Exactly.
It's bad when the kids.
That's the village.
They play. I mean, they sit back and they're entertained by watching other kids play on YouTube.
That's the village of
That really
today.
bothers me. How can you turn on something for your children to sit and watch somebody else play? They playing on YouTube. That's what they watch.
Play.
Yes, that's the village though.
Else playing.
But that's why a lot of our kids' mobility and their joints and all
social
of that,
skills.
Their social skills sucks now. These kids now complain about their bones hurting and they aching and all because they're not outside running.
Really?
They're not jumping rope. They're not playing ball like they should. Baseball.
Because I was told when I was younger, I ain't have no spine. My back hurt. You ain't got no spine.
Hey, yes, So that's most definitely very important. We just, and it's a constant message. And we just cannot accept that just because it's not our child, that we don't look out for that child. We have to, hey, we may even get the backlash, but who cares about the backlash? It's all about, first and foremost, I'd rather get the backlash than worry about what my future may look like after it is, that I'm gone for my kids.
But I'm going to say this. I really don't care about getting the backlash either, though. You know what I'm saying? Because in all honesty, I may have been that person once upon a time where, you know what I'm saying? Because I had my baby young. I was 17, but it was about my baby. It was about, you know what I'm saying? It was about that baby doll, dressing her up. But I thank God I had you. I thank God I had Mama. I thank God I had Rosie Woodson. You know, I thank God I had Celia Gordon. I thank God I had Grandma Burke, because I was blessed with 3 grandmothers. You see what I'm saying? Right. So we got triple the love, but everybody don't have that. So the ones that don't
That's what I'm saying. Everybody ain't got that.
Embrace them. Show them what it's really about, because a lot of people is growing up and don't even really know how to love themselves. They don't know what love is. And I'm not talking about loving when you having a companion. I'm talking about as self. I'm talking about as growing up.
Better help.
We don't teach our kids that. We don't talk to our kids about, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to feel like you feel, but let's talk about that. Let's work that out. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, go get that tablet. You better get on in there and get that tablet, you know, or you better get that phone.
And sit down somewhere.
We don't have time anymore. You know what I'm saying? So our babies is being raised with that auto theft and that social media. And I'm not.
That's the village.
I'm not talking bad about social media, because social media offer a lot of great things. Yeah. But I'm speaking on the negative things that have our kids dumbed down.
But you know what? We shouldn't allow social media and all that other stuff to be the village, because that's the village of today. Right. That's the village that is raising our kids of today. It's no more personable village. It's all about all this other fictitious stuff. Those are the villages. Those are the villages that's raising our kids, whether we want to believe it or not. Those are the villages.
I'm gonna say this too, Miss Ming, because we also have to tap into the point of, see, a lot of these are generational curses as well.
Yes.
This ain't just popped up and these people are like they are. A lot of this is generational curses that has been planned for back in the day. And it has never been broken, because these are things we don't talk about. We are ashamed to talk about these things. We don't want help, not the right type of help. And I'm not saying that we have to go get a psychiatrist or a therapist, but
some of us might do it. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Tap into you and tap into Jesus and just try him. Or whatever you may call him, because he's been called a
But you know what? You also have to have that willingness to listen. You gotta have that willingness to listen and not take offense to things that are being said to you. You may not like it. You may not like it, but it can possibly help you in the long run. Take it, listen to it, and then think about it. You know, hey, was that true? Maybe that does fit me. I need to check me, or I need to check this that's going on, because I definitely don't want my kid to become a statistic. I definitely don't want my kid to be a part of what's going on in the streets. You know, so if somebody's calling it out, don't take offense to it. Look into it. Check it. Check it. I hear a lot of, and especially females, I hear a lot of females dogging each other out and going at it with each other and talking about each other and talking about, you know, this and that, instead of, well, first and foremost, I know that that's because a lot of people don't know how to communicate. I know that. So, you know, I'll take that into, you know, existence as well. Yes. We got to learn how to talk.
These tablets, these phones, they're teaching us how not to be able to communicate, because that's all we're counting on right here. It's spelling for us, it's reading for us, it's doing everything for us, and we don't have to communicate or touch on the next person or love on the next person, because we loving on this phone and this tablet because we in love with it. And if we take our eyes out of it, we're gonna miss the prize. Not so.
Hey, you know what's deep about that? When you notice how a lot of people largely communicate through text message, but do we realize, like, even if you ain't sitting next to a person, to hear the person on the other end of that phone, you could still feel a certain type of energy from that person. You see what I'm saying? That text message, only energy you feeling is the words that's coming out their mouth, whatever they saying in the text message, but you still don't understand how they was really expressing it, or, you know, how they was
what they was looking,
you know
like.
What I'm saying? Like, somebody could say hey 1,000 different ways in a text message, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be a hey, a dry hey. You don't even know, because all you seeing is the words. You see what I'm saying? You just seeing the words. You don't know the feeling behind it.
Is you yelling at me? It's
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Yeah. But you know what? You make a good point with that, Fast Lane. And shout out to my aunt. She's like she called herself my twin. But my aunt Janie, that she will say that first and foremost, don't text me, call me, because she wants to be able to hear how you sound. She wants to be able to see you if she could. But yeah, she would prefer to hear your voice. Don't text, and she'll tell you that. Don't text me, call me. Because I want to talk to you. She literally was in a text chain that we had going, and we would say good morning, but then some would elaborate and put a lot more words into it. She said, remove me. Just remove me, because I'd prefer for you to say that to me over the phone than to send all of that in a text. How do I know what you mean by it, or what if you mean anything by it?
Yep.
Yes, most definitely.
Like I said,
so
all the things we talk about, I can say that, once upon a time I was guilty of that, and that's why I'm so glad that, I try to keep positive people around me, because when you have a lot of negativity around you, then that negativity rubs off on you. And a lot of times we don't even understand why our moods be swinging, or why we hollering at the baby and all the baby want is our attention. You know what I'm saying? Or why our daughters are so-called so fast, like we say. You know what I'm saying? They so grown, they so fast. Well, why? Why are they like that? Have you ever asked yourself that? You know what I'm saying? And we just got to get back to that. And I'm not throwing stones or darts or nothing. All I'm saying to you is that I may have been that person once upon a time, but when you stay around positive energy, positive people, you tend to change a lot of things about yourself that you thought that you was cool, or that it was good, or you know what I'm saying, or like you just, you know what I'm saying, you was untouchable with that situation. So it takes a village, and we still back to the village. It takes a village,
because the
me,
more
you, us.
Again,
we have
I'm
to
gonna
teach
say
these.
I love y'all, because this is why not say, because it needs to be discussed.
that's right.
People need to hear it, and they need to hear it from different angles.
Exactly.
That's right.
Ain't nobody in agreement with, ain't no yes ma'am or yes sir. All of us have our opinions on what we feel as a neighborhood.
Exactly. And that's true.
And it needs to be heard, because people is speaking on other situations as to make it fair seeming that we don't need to reach out like we are and have the conversations that we're having with the ones that's on social media that have access to it. So if we can be on social media giving positive energy, positive advice,
why not say it and do it? That's right.
There we go.
515-599-1687.
They scared to call.
Hey, call baby. Talk to us.
They talk about everything else. Let's talk about a solution. We'll talk about these kids, how bad they doing, all this. But ain't nobody calling in to show a collective way of a solution.
Exactly.
Or even maybe if they having an issue with that child, maybe somebody along, a listener or something might hear it. You know what I mean? It don't cost a dime. This ain't a call 599 for $10 every 3 minutes.
This is
you know
free.
what I mean? It's
this
free.
Is actually free.
You sit there all day, texting all day. All you got to do is reach out.
And we are talking
for a
about
short
stuff
second,
that we
speak
know
your mind.
that's going on in a lot of people's families, in our own family.
Well, we seeing the
But
results
we won't
daily.
talk about
We
it.
seeing the
Nobody
results
wants to
daily.
call
Our
and
kids,
talk
look what's
about
happening
it.
to our kids out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They losing fast.
Village.
So somewhere
Village,
along the
stand
line,
up.
we gonna have to snap out of it and realize we all got to
I'm
play a
telling
part.
you.
Your voice need to be heard too. You know
I'm
what I mean?
telling
That's right.
Because
village.
A lot of these kids are like this because they wasn't hearing your voice enough. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You'll sit
But
back and
we
talk to
also-
everybody else and be like, oh, he just losing his mind. Or, oh, I'm going to get him some medication. No, our medication was my grandma saying, hey, go out there and get that switch. And if you don't, she going to bust this extension card out. And once you get a taste of that extension card, you're going to get your mind right because you ain't going to keep wanting to run that back.
I'm telling
you. You know what I mean?
But you know what? As a part of that village, it's just not for the kids because it's a lot of adults that need a village too to help them be raised.
That's why they had adult. That's why they.
I love y'all.
Of course.
Out here, but I love y'all and I love calling.
We love you too, baby. We thought you was gone hours ago, but it's all good. We love you though, baby. We love you.
We didn't even know you was still here, baby.
Hey, we love you long time.
Yeah, you know, that's all good, you know.
Hey, call us next Friday on the next topic.
You know what I mean? We'll have you right here on the panel with us,
I
even though
love
you ain't here.
y'all.
Love you too, baby. Love you too.
All right, shout out to
All right.
Oklahoma.
Shout out to everybody in the Oklahoma.
But yes, you know, it's not just the kids that need that village. It's a lot of adults.
And
Because
you're right.
a lot of adults are so busy fighting with each other and taking so much personal, hey, what does words actually mean when it is that somebody is talking about you? What does it matter? What does it matter? But what you should be doing is looking at what those words are actually saying to you, to your soul. You know, check yourself. Don't get involved with all of that mess
That's
that's
easier
going
said
on.
than done, though. Just real talk. That's easier said than done. And the reason I say that is because the way we have to really start reprogramming our minds with a lot of things that we were taught because we weren't taught the right way. We weren't taught what these certain words that we say, you know, or things that we do. You know, a lot of stuff we just was not taught, but we were taught the best that our parents, because
That's why
like
it's called
I said,
up on us now to teach
know,
it. We got to teach it now, though. These are the days of the
and we
awakening,
can't
though.
be ashamed of it. We have to
You know,
actually start opening up and realizing that a lot of stuff that we were taught wrong.
Well,
But
it's
not too late.
okay, though. You know why? Because it's good lessons and it's bad lessons.
And we
you
need
see
them
what I'm
both,
saying? And
'cause you
once you
can't
get
have
to
one
a
without
level
the
of
other.
conscience, you realize that you can't delete neither one. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because how would you know what was good for you if you didn't know what was bad for you?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And if you wasn't taught bad lessons, how would you know it was good lessons involved in the
Exactly.
conversation or the lesson that was in front of you? You know what I mean? So how we was taught plays a part of that journey on certain levels. Maybe our parents only rich, but they had certain levels to give us too. You know what I'm saying? And we take it to the next level and share it and share it and share it. And as they elevate, they realize the difference. You know what I'm saying? Because really, like I was saying, we seem like we're going forwards, but when you look back, our ancestors was 1,000 steps ahead of us for real. You know what I'm saying? So we're more lost than what we think we are. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about balancing it out. He never said we was going to be perfect. He said balance out the scales. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be some bad on this side and it's going to be some good. You got to balance it out and take both of them and let that
And
measure
learn.
the person and learn from both of them because they both play a valuable part of this journey. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's so true. That's so true.
Well, you know what? I want to give a shout out to Fast Lane because he was the one that brought this topic around tonight. And you know what? We have some really good topics every Friday. And we all collaboratively, you know, come up with these topics and do our research and talk and so on and so forth. So it's always good, you know, to have something that's a topic, a conversation starter. And this is a conversation starter. But that's
And we would
part of our values.
we would like to extend a invitation to any therapist or anybody that's doing something to motivate or to help someone get to the next spot. We would love to have you all on Why Not Say It. We would love for you all to come call and give us a topic. If it's something you want to talk about, we can talk about it. Why not say it?
And we extend our open invitation to anybody. Anybody can come on Why Not Say It. It's not limited. We invite and open up that invitation to
Not the
everyone.
foolishness. Not the foolishness.
Come correct
okay.
now.
Not the foolishness.
Because if you
Well,
come, you gotta come
it's-
correct.
But you know what? We know how to check that.
Not the
We know how to
foolishness.
check that.
But we do respect everybody's opinion, and we will respect each other. Not the foolishness. Not the foolishness.
Absolutely,
The devil
Miss
is a lie.
Kiwi.
Yes, no, not the fool. Not on why not say it. So
That's right.
Hey, with that being said, we love you guys. For those who tuned in, for our faithful ones, we love you. Thank you. Continue to tune in. Call in 515-599-1687. We try to come up with the good topics. We've been having some real good topics. So if you have a topic, shout at us. We'll get back with you and we can discuss it next Friday. Same time. Why not do it?
Good night, everyone. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to my co-host that's in the STL, Miss Kiwi, Fast Lane. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your night.
Shout out to the STL.
Shout out to the ATL.
Shout out to the whole motherfucking country.
Yes. Stick yourself if you don't want to shout them out. Shout out from Why Not Say It, baby. Till next time, we love you guys. Tune in, call in, like
us.
and till the next time.
That's right. Good night.
Yeah, we finna come with that. There we go. Come on now.
Thank you guys for watching. Good night. Good night. Have a good night. Come back again next Friday. Why not say it? Love you. Smooches.
I had a hustle, I made legendary. Did whatever I had to do if I felt it was necessary. I always been a rider, I was never